Hello, everybody. We are about to get started. So if you can go ahead, we will be interviewing the Jamee McAdoo today on Art on Arkansas. So if you are tuned in, I just would like to say thank you. I appreciate it. And before we jump into it, I just wanted to mention a few things that we're working on at the Arkansas Arts Council. So coming up on our list first is Poetry Out Loud, which is a national recitation competition for high school students. If you know any high school students that would be interested in participating, please be sure to have them go to our website, arkansasarts.org, to get more information and to participate, because there is a chance to win up to $20,000. Okay, that is a lot of money to recite a poem. And also, we have our arts and education major grants that will be due on January 29th. So if you are just seeing this, I'm sorry it's so late, but if you can go check out what we have to offer and to see if it would be of benefit to you and your organization or any organization that you know, then definitely contact me if you need any help. We would love to see some more organizations, get funded to help implement art into academics, especially during this here pandemic. And I'm going to go ahead and bring Jamee on, introduce her, let you know some background information on her. And then if you all have any questions, comments, or concerns, please interact in the comments. We'll read them as we go. And also, again, please share this video because you never know who it might. Hey!
Hey! Sorry, I gotta get my angle.
Right, gotta get the angles right. Wow, now I can see most of my hair. Okay, got it. Okay, so just to kick this off, for those who don't know, I'm Drekkia Morning, the Arts and Education Program Manager at the Arkansas Arts Council, and today joining me for Art the McAdoo. So I'm super excited to have Jamee on because I actually, she was a part of a program that I worked for back in the day, so I remember her when she was about this tall, singing Girl on Fire. And I'm super proud of all that she has done and has accomplished. I'll let her introduce more of herself here. I'm so to be having this moment today, especially because, as you all know, this is the inauguration day, and we just had a 22-year-old poet perform for the inauguration, and she was she's been named the youngest to ever do it. So to just see how poetry has been so transformative and helped her to come over, I feel like it's very symbolic because Jamee too is a poet. So how crazy is that? We're interviewing a young female poet on today. So Jamee, I'll let you go ahead and introduce yourself. What do you want the people to know?
Okay, I'm kind of hearing it. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes.
Oh, okay.
I can hear you.
I'm hearing the echo. I'm not sure what that is, but it's okay. I'll just yeah, so okay. I am knowing Drekkia. Or is everything good? I don't know how to text it on your end.
Oh, I can hear you clearly on my end. Yeah.
Okay.
The people in the comments,
so
y'all let us know if y'all can hear us.
Yeah, I can hear. It's just like lagging. Like I hear myself talking, like, but it's very faint, so I can. But yeah, so I'm Jamee McAdoo. I've been knowing Drekkia for a long time. She does have old embarrassing videos of me singing Girl on Fire when I was like in middle school, so that's fun. But I am a professional poet, a published author, award playwright, and a radio personality. So a bunch of poets here in Little Rock, Arkansas, and we actually had a poet radio. So I have a lot of experience in different areas, which is why my major with my life. But I know what my talents and my skills. directly correlate with my passion. So hopefully find a career that, you know, exercises I like to do, but also is impactful. So thank you for having me today, and I'm excited for this.
Yay. And did you mention how old you were?
I did not. So yeah, I'm 19 years old. I'm a sophomore at Jackson State University, HBCU in Jackson State. I mean, in Jackson, Mississippi. And yeah, I've been writing poetry for like 10 years.
Wow, that sounds so crazy. Like you would really think you have lived a long life, but she is just 19, so that makes this even more exciting. And if y'all don't know, but we do have a Poetry Out Loud workshop series that is rolling out on January 30th that she will be instructing. So be sure to tune into that. But let's go ahead and get into it because I know you have a busy day, superstar. My first question is, how did you even get started in the arts? And can you let the people know what your medium is?
Yes. So yeah, for though I am a spoken word poet, so poetry plus the performance part of it. So not just writing it and reciting it, but like performing it. So both of my parents are writers. They actually both worked at a poetry radio show like back in the 90s and stuff. So I like to say that it's in my blood. So they had a national award winning, you know, critically acclaimed spoken word poetry troupe that Drekkia was a part of, and they would always have meetings in my living room, and I would listen and then run back to my room and so I started writing like elementary school. They always encouraged me, always exposed my brother and I the importance of expression and the importance of the arts, and I'm kind of where the arts and education intersect because they're both teachers and they're both writers. Growing up, I had a very fun childhood, expression and arts and performances, and kind of just how I got started, being immersed by it because of my parents.
Oh, that is so cute. Look, my heart is so warmed today. So, you said it's in your blood, so I mean, you were really destined for this. So, how has poetry impacted your life?
So, there's really not one way to pinpoint how it's impacted my life because it has been my entire life up to this point. So, I mean, all of my closest friends, they are poets or creatives because we formed that my parents led and everything. So, friends, of course, I've mentored a community like and many others that were family friends of my parents. They're in my because of poetry. I've gotten so many opportunities to perform in front of different people. You know, that has impacted my life. A huge impact, which I will get into, is being an inspiration. So I don't know that I just expected to be, I guess, as well known as I am, but it just kind of happened. And I just take so much pride in knowing that younger people look up to me, or even people my age. See, you know, it's not lame to speak out about activism, or it's not lame to write a poem about your emotions. Like, I feel like it's giving me respect, and I like that. That's a huge impact on my life. I'm not sure how people would perceive me if it weren't poetry, because everyone kind of says, "Oh, that's girl and poetry." Like they always say, like they don't say. I guess what they know. It has been my, and what more of an impact it than actually being, you know, a part of the fiber of my being. So yeah, poetry has been my life up until this point and continue to be in my life for my life.
I like that. A fiber of my being. So don't be surprised if you see it. So I know you mentioned that it's just your friends are poets and all of that, but I do remember when you started college and there was, I believe, like a poetry group or a poetry open mic that you were at, and I forgot exactly what you said, but I thought it was so cool, like how it was the thing that really just got me out there and to make relationships with people. So I think in a way, like your talent really opens doors for you to meet new people. So when you got to poetry, or do you like use?
Okay, you did break up a little bit, but I think you're asking when I got to Jackson, how did my poetry open doors?
Yes, this was for you.
Okay.
To make
new
friends. I mean,
yeah, you do remember I got to Jackson State. I'm called Outspoken. So Outspoken Arts Collective. They have rappers, poets, visual artists, DJs, like all of that. So that's Outspoken Arts Collective. Then there also is Mad Drama, which they do poetry, but it's more of like the theater poetry. So that's like performing on stage for plays and stuff like that. So I quickly joined both. I love both of them. They both have been experiences for me because, you know, growing up, everything. I mean, I get a little bit of criticism, not much. You know, most people have. Then I go to Jackson State and I'm surrounded by people my age, younger, older, and they all do the same thing. They're all Jamee McAdoos from their hometown. So, you know, iron does really sharpen iron. Being around dope people gives you a dope experience. So it was good for me to be able to get now express my poetry and say, you know, that was great. Have you considered doing this? Or just even extra tidbits of feedback that I wouldn't have gotten on my own. It really made me overall a stronger writer and a part of something bigger than myself. So yeah, it's opened doors for me in that regard that I have been able to grow. But also we've had talent shows that I was in. The thing about college that I think is different than my experience here, obviously it's more serious topics. Like it was a whole event dedicated to like domestic abuse. And so it challenges right outside of your comfort zone, I guess, and write about certain topics, HIV awareness. Is interesting. It doesn't have to be specific, but just about you know medical issues that are more that are bigger in Black communities and stuff. So I think it's just made me know more about and been able to use my poetry not just in a selfish way, but to also, you know, try new things and challenge myself to write about things I wouldn't write on my own. So that's these clubs in Texas.
Wow. Okay, I love that. And Alexa said preach. And then she said, how can teachers promote poetry in a way that isn't so overwhelming to students? Presenting it as music has helped. Any other thoughts?
Okay. Yeah. So this is a great question because I've seen it done with my parents. So they always incorporate writing or just creative exercise to their classroom. And I think the best way, well, you know, I know you have to follow curriculum stuff, but for me, the best way is to open as possible, to have that creativity. So, of course, English was always one of my subjects, but it wasn't always my best subject. I gotta be, you know, that sounds bad for me because I strive to get all. So, like, I will always get a B in English, and I just like, what the how? But it's because I didn't really follow the rules. Like we had one assignment to do, and I'm like, oh, cool. And she's like, you know, I specifically said how to do it, or how you're supposed to do it. It was great, but this is not, you know, what I instructed, and so I was just getting B's. But anyways, my point is, you know, poetry can be a great outlet for students to say things. Like my father told me, you might not learn a lot about it in a conversation. You can learn more about them in a poem. You can learn more about their personality in a drawing. Like he always says that, you know, you express yourself more with art. So I think it's a great way to open up students in the classroom. I think the best way is to not as much. Now I know, you know, when you learn about it in English, there are stanzas, there are certain rules to poetry. But for me, like it's experience for it to be creative. It's not a very specific answer, but I am not an educator, so I don't really know how to properly, execute in the classroom. I just know that my parents have done it. And from what I've seen, it's letting the students kind of take over that part of it, but be themselves with the seems to go well. So I hope that helps.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that was definitely good. Alexa also said a creative space will always come before curriculum in my room. Thank you, because students definitely need space to create freely. Stacy McAdoo said, wow, this is actually my discussion question for my students today. Look at that, how divine. Hey, Stacy. So, I mean, just to piggyback on what you said, though, giving them that creative control. Now, I used to work in after school, so I would let my students literally say whatever they wanted to say. And I know a lot of times we try to censor the language of students, but they're living in a real world, living a real life, and you cannot censor somebody else's experience. So giving them the space to create freely inside another safe space, it like really opens doors for students. And I'm not gonna lie, for some reason today when I watched the inauguration, the poet that performed, I watched the documentary that she did, prior to it, and she talked about how she had a speech impediment and how she overcame it, and how she's been able to be in rooms where she's like, never even imagined going because of poetry. And it made me cry like on a deep, because I think of how, like, what would my life be like if I did not do poetry? I just wouldn't even be able to tell you. When I started writing in 6th grade, it's been a part of my life ever since. Like I worked as a poet. That's what I do. So poetry has been very impactful. So to put it in a classroom, like, you don't even know what kind of doors you open for students. So giving them the freedom again to create in the classroom, to challenge them. I always tell my students whenever I do a workshop, write about what you don't usually get to talk about. Because kids, even in elementary, they're talking about depression. They're talking about politics. They're talking about feminism. They're talking about the environment, pollution. Like, they're talking about all the things that you think kids would not be talking about or thinking about. They're talking about how they get affected when someone dies. And they don't usually get to express that because we think that all they're thinking about is recess. That's not true. Like, they want to have that space to create. Yeah. And when you give them that chance to do it, it transforms lives. And I feel like it transformed mine. So that was really powerful. So yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. I was just saying, yeah, that because we did always do workshops with kids and stuff, and you get surprised by how powerful their words are and how smart they. We did kind of have as much expectation because we're like, oh, this will just be kids.
Exactly.
About the world that kids are, I mean, it's hard to ignore all of the things that are going on. And like you said, it's an opportunity to express those feelings that adults don't think that they're capable of having those conversations. So I did learn quickly from workshops. The thing that you said about where would you be without poetry, that's kind of why your question, how has it impacted my life, was like difficult, because I'm like, how has it not impacted my life? It is my life. All my friends are poets. Right. Like, and I love that. Like, I kind of really love that. That is such a big part of my life. And it also made me think of a friend, Jacob Cunningham, one of the best poets you'll hear, cold with wordplay, like so much confidence. He came in 11th grade, joined writers, had really like no background. Said he tried to be a rapper, he didn't poet or something like that. So he came off of another poet. We got a poet, Maya. So it word of mouth. But when you talk about open at our first like fancy event, it was for a church gala. Wow, these are fancy, utensils. Like, it was his first time being somewhere like that. We took him on flights, like, about crying because of the impacts. Like, when I think about Jacob's life post poetry, his first time going to New York, to Atlanta, Carolina, was because of poetry. He started getting because of poetry, making mom about because of poetry. about it too. Like, I don't know where I would be guys or without poetry. And that's like one of the best feelings that you can get, is knowing that it has changed your life for the better. Yeah, that's the effect that arts has on it changes who you are as a person, and it allows you to be who you are as. So I'm grateful that it allowed me to discover and to be myself as I've grown up.
Exactly. And this is kind of not since I you, but I did want to say, how has it been to try to create during it? We're it almost in a year. Have you been able to create? Like, what has it been like?
Yeah, so it has been kind of hard, and I was just talking to my brother about this the other day. You would expect, since we're in a dropping new music and stuff, he told me, like, from the rapper's perspective, it was like, I mean, yeah, but we're not living. We're not actually, getting experiences right now.
Yeah.
True. So I think it's all about inspiration with poetry, and it's just living a normal daily life. You don't realize what certain thoughts, certain things, like, oh, I can make, like, you don't even realize how things inspire when you just live a regular life until you're in the same four walls every day. Until you have to not move forward with life, do the same thing. So, yeah, I did kind of, and it was intentional, and I didn't want myself to write. The thought never in my mind, like, this could be my next poem, until like 2 days ago. I actually had an idea for something. So I was like, yay, started a little Google Doc, and basically it is going to be growing, but it's going to be like, so it'll be like how I miss my childhood, but it's going to be caring. So it'll be like, okay, just a little bit, something like, back when I was a kid and I was really worrying about crushes, now I wonder if my brother will get killed. It's kind of like juxtaposed.
Wow.
Because they say ignorance, right? So when if you don't notice or think about certain things. So anyway, I just kind of have that in my mind, but it took pretty much this whole year for that to come. But yeah, it has been hard, and I think my brother said it best. We're not really living right now, so that's kind of why the inspiration for me hasn't come. But for others, maybe being in isolation has inspired them to have deeper thoughts to write. So it depends on the person and depends on what poetry does for you.
Right. Wow. You know what? That's powerful. He said we're not living. Poetry does come from the things we experience. I think also too, like being in this pandemic, we also dealt with a lot of racial tension. So I just think about earlier this year, being outside amongst hundreds of people protesting during a pandemic, like that was intense. So
yeah.
My next question is, what are some highlights of your career? No, you go ahead.
I was just gonna. That's why I said I think it is a delay. But even with that, you would think I would write poems. Like some of my most notable poems came from Rights or Philanthropy or I Can't Breathe. All of those. But at this point, it's just kind of like, and I mean, 2020 and it's all the craziness.
Wow.
It's amongst 2020. But I don't think I've like had the energy to really give myself to a poem and actually say all that I've been thinking about this year. Like that does take a lot to just put it all out there. And I know if or when I do, like it will be an amazing poem because 2020 has been, a roller coaster with the racial tensions, with the pandemic. Didn't have in me right now to do that. So I went to those protests and I went to those marches and old poems, but I didn't just sit down and write new things. It would have been just too exhausting. But moving to the next one, so you said my highlight so even though I am 19, like I said, and it was even weird for me to say it out loud that I've been doing this for like 10 years because, that's crazy. A little bit more than half of my life. But yeah, I think I have two major accomplishments that come to mind. One being my book. So at the age of 16, my father encouraged me to write a book. I was in New York on a summer internship, and there actually was going to be a New York book festival. So like we kind of planned it out to where the book would be out by the festival. So it was only a couple of months. It was like my birthday gift to myself for my upcoming 17th birthday. So the name of the book is 17. It has 17 original poems from, various stages in my life, from middle school crushes to being a Black girl in America. And yeah, it did really well. I feel like I've grown so much since then. Like, wow, that was so long ago, and people still like ask about it. I'm like, yeah, I feel like I'm past those poems, but still one of the greatest accomplishments for me to have at that age, and then even just at that scale. Like, I was just so proud of myself for that, and happy for my parents to let me know that that was possible. That was one. And the other biggest accomplishment of my career was I got into a pageant. And I wasn't a pageant girl, but a family friend of mine said, "You're very well spoken, you have a great talent, you should do this Miss Heritage pageant." So the Miss Heritage pageant brought specifically bring diversity to Arkansas and America. It was for Black girls. It's for the heritage. So I said, okay, if I'm gonna go in, at least I'm going into a Black one. So I did that. Won my first pageant. I won. So I am ever the very first Miss Heritage outstanding for 2. And from that, it led me to do it for Miss Arkansas pageant that June, where I was the only Black teen contestant out of 40 contestants. So that definitely came with this experiences. But I performed my original poetry. Why it's an accomplishment to me is because not many people had original things. And if it was original, it was like a dance. It wasn't, words. So for me to have done original poetry, and I won overall best talent. I won every night. Overall best interview, overall best talent, overall best evening gown, overall best fitness, and I got third runner-up overall. But yeah, like for me, first year, to win on a pageant level, every night I won talent, and it was an original talent that was so unorthodox. I didn't have pageant hair. I wore my natural hair. I wore Bantu knots. Shout out to the Real Natural Hair Salon for doing my hair every day. Yeah, so it's just like I was being true to show my Black girl magic. And that was when a lot of Black people were in pageants. Like Miss World was Black. Miss America, she was Black. Miss America's Outstanding Teen was mixed. So it was just a lot of Black queens. Did I say Miss World? Miss Universe, Southern Black. So it was just so many, Black women that were. So it really that. And for my whole thing in Blackness, that was such because it was seen by so many people, and yeah, little girls would come up to me like, "Your hair looks like mine," or "Wow, are you famous?" And it was just like that impact really, really to me. Whenever I would wear my crown and sash, or whenever I would perform somewhere in it, like it was no other feeling like that. And the response that I got from other Black people, like, "We see you, girl," and I was like, "Yes." So the book and the pageant were super accomplished.
Oh, I'm just so proud of you. That is very powerful. That's very powerful. Breaking a lot of barriers for people too, because representation matters. I always tell this story. It wasn't until I saw somebody who looked like me being a bank teller that registered to me that I could do it. It was beautiful, and I'm pretty sure you're gonna cause a domino effect. You are just 19, so it's like so much more that's about to unfold in your life. That's why I'm excited to have you.
Yes.
And the other question I had was, how do you think? Do I want to ask that? How do you think the education system is?
Okay. Education is right. So, and before I answer this, I mentioned on the domino effect, there was actually a girl. Well, there were many girls who asked me like how to do pageants, like who went to APUs, like running for their class pageant at UAPB or just anywhere, they've asked me for advice. But it was one specific girl, and her mom actually sent me a message and asked me if I could help her daughter with the pageant and the poet. So she sent me herself. I kind of mentored her. Her name is Leah, and anyway, she won her pageant. It was a preliminary pageant, so we'll be in the Miss Arkansas pageant. I think it was Jonesboro, and the judges there said, "Do you know Jamee McAdoo? You kind of have her, aura, or you kind of have her style, or something like that." And they were like, "Yes, that's my mentor." So that was pretty cool. When you talk about it, people remember your name. People do remember what impact you had. Glad to pass it along to her. So now we have another Black queen doing poetry in the pageant. So it's kind of like she's taking my place. Like I'm moving and like she's securing it. So that's cool. Education. Well, right now education is kind of with the pandemic and everything. So I do applaud all teachers who are still trying to teach students, whether that's virtually or if they are sacrificing their life and their health by going into the classrooms. That's something very notable. Doctors and teachers, they are making the world go round right now. So I applaud all of them. There are just a lot of issues in every aspect of life. The education corrupts in some ways when it comes to like zoning and just like there's small issues that some people don't even realize how it's hurting minority communities. So I still I'm that type of person that says still feeling this. Of course, we are like there are social systems that were so long ago that they still are impacting Black communities negatively. I think education is one of those, but there are people that are working toward fixing it, and I don't really know the future or whatever, but like small things that impact that.
Right. Okay, this is freezing up a little bit on me now too. But yeah, definitely kudos to everybody that's going out and still trying to incorporate art into academics. It has been difficult trying to live in a virtual world when we're so used to being like face to face. And my would be, what advice would you give any up and coming artists, and also let us know of any upcoming projects you have and how the people can find you.
Yes. So for up and coming artists, I think my main advice is to like be bold in whatever you do. I know a lot of people think, well, I don't have for this, or I want to throw an event, but I don't know if people will come, or I post my poetry online, but I don't know if people will like it. Like, don't worry about that part in the back. Or, go for it. Just be bold and go. You can't be successful with what you want if you're not reaching toward anything. Be bold. Don't worry about the negative thoughts that you have about what if this doesn't work. What if people think this? Don't worry about it. Just do what you want to do. Put talent, and you will be great. Another thing is everyone doesn't have the same resources. So I was happy that my parents are who my parents are, because they aren't just that for me, but they're that for like everybody. Like so Jacob, Tamaya, everyone kind of credits the McAdoos, at least for poetry. So I'm grateful to be in a position to where I can see their impact on others. So I didn't really have a mentor just because I had them and just a lot of family friends. But I would say if you're an up and coming artist, seek mentors, like get help. Patient, great thing. You might think, I want to do my own path. But I'm saying, it's never a bad idea to be around like-minded individuals, help and advice from people who have done what you're trying to do. Like I said earlier, iron sharpens iron. If you surround yourself with people who have the same goals, or nothing bad can come out of growing from it. So yeah, just surround yourself around people who have the same business that you do, who believe in you. Don't surround yourself with those people who you, and if they'll like it, or if they'll lame or whatever. they're irrelevant. So stay on your path and just surround yourself with you, and I think you'll be good.
Yes. Upcoming projects that you are rolling out, how can the people find you?
Yes, so my latest project, I guess, was the development of my website, JameeMcAdoo.com. It basically has interviews, articles, stuff on my pageant on there, poetry, what I'm pushing right now, JameeMcAdoo.com on there, or a book form on there, because not only books 17, but we also have the righteous poets have published books on desegregation, on the coronavirus, and we're coming out with a book on racism or George Floyd. So there are opportunities to support that way, but watch the videos and stuff on that. As far as upcoming projects, the semester just started. I'm president of an organization, an honors organization at Jackson State, as well as being in spoken and mad drama. So I'm just focusing everything into school and figuring out how we can still have a good year virtually. And I kind of picked up a new tutoring job where I'm helping with English. So yeah, art streams, I'm not really sure right now, but I'm just pushing my website. So JameeMcAdoo.
Yeah. Yay! Well, I'm super excited for you. I'm sprinkling blessings on you. Everybody, thank y'all for tuning in. Be sure to still share this video so that some people can be blessed with these gems. Also, be sure to check out her website, JameeMcAdoo.com. Her name is spelled Jamee, and then McAdoo. It is tagged in this video. But thank you all for tuning in. Again, thank you, Jamee, and I hope you have a good day and a good rest of the semester.
Thank you, Drekkia, not only for inviting me to be interviewed today, but also just all of the things that I've learned from you. And like I said, I was young when I was watching y'all, and you might not even know, but it was certain things I would just say, wow, she's amazing. Like, honestly. Okay. Really look up to you right here as a go-getter. So you keep, being you, I keep being me, and we'll see each other again in the so.
We actually will. So January 30th, Poetry Out Loud workshop series, y'all. Be sure to register for that. It will be led by Jamee McAdoo and Stacey McAdoo. And we also have some more rolling out after that as well. But if you check out, again, our website, you can see all the information on everything that we offer. So thank you again. Have a good day.
You too.